And we are live. It's your boy Treka from Damascus, Syria. Today we're going to be talking about the latest airstrike that Joe Biden did in Syria, on Syria. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for the people to join the live video, and we will start talking about the whole situation. So if you're entering the live video right now, please share this video so that it can reach more people, so that we can spread the message to everyone. Tuka saying, Treka, hey Tuka, how are you? How's everything? Alright guys, share this video and please make sure to be following me on Instagram and YouTube to stay updated with my videos, because sometimes Facebook limits my reach. So follow me on Instagram and YouTube, and it's still under the name Treka Z. So after this live video ends, remember to follow me there too. So I'm doing this video to talk about the latest airstrikes that Joe Biden did in Syria and Iraq in the day before yesterday. First of all, it's like I don't know where to start. You know, I told you guys this from the beginning, that Joe Biden is a warmonger. And this guy, if he becomes president, the situation in the Middle East is only going to get worse. Because I remember that Joe Biden was Obama's vice president when they destroyed Syria, and when they bombed Syria, and when they started funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria. So it's like we as Syrians, when we knew that Joe Biden is now president, we weren't optimistic at all, because we knew what was going to happen. It's going to continue the same destructive foreign policy that Obama started here in Syria. And what I fucking hate about the American government and their lies is that it's like they are very, very smart in deceiving the American people to start a new war. For an example, every single time now that Joe Biden is going to be bombing Syria, I promise you he's always going to be using Iran as an excuse to justify his attack. When Joe Biden became president in 2021, after 36 days exactly, imagine, like the guy hasn't been president for only 36 days, and he immediately bombed Syria. And when he did, he also used Iran as an excuse. And 2 days ago, when he bombed Syria and Iraq, he also used Iran as an excuse. My message to Joe Biden is this: if you really have a problem with Iran, why don't you go and bomb Iran in Iran? If this is really your problem, if your problem is with Iran, why are you bombing Syria and Iraq? It just doesn't make sense, you know? But this is just an excuse, because the American government is very smart. They know that the majority of the American people are against war. The American people, if you talk to the majority of the American people, they will all tell you that what the American government is doing in the Middle East doesn't represent our own opinion. We don't want any more wars. We want to pull out all our troops and bring them back home. This is what the majority of the American people will tell you. So the American government already knows this, but they also know that the majority of the American people don't like Iran. They know this for a fact. So whenever they want to start a new war with Syria or Iraq, or they want to bomb Syria or Iraq, they're always going to use Iran as an excuse, because they know that the majority of the Americans don't like Iran. So this will like give them justification to why they are bombing the Middle East again. But this is it. And when they were asking Joe Biden about why was he airstriking Syria, he was like, oh, this was a form of self-defense. We were defending ourselves. We got attacked, so like we defend. The first question is, how the hell do you consider what you are doing in Syria self-defense when you are occupiers? When your existence in Syria is illegal? How can you call what you are doing self-defense when you are illegally occupying this land? First of all, nobody invited America here. Nobody asked America to come here. America forced their military troops in Syria. And the funny thing is that the American government keeps on talking about Russia and Iran's presence in Syria. Now let me just make this very clear. As a Syrian citizen living in Syria, I want all foreign countries to get the fuck out of my country. But at least Russia and Iran are legally here, meaning the Syrian government officially invited Iran and Russia to come to Syria and help out in the fight against ISIS. The same terrorist groups that were funded by Obama and Joe Biden. You understand? So when Iran or Russia is here, they are legally here. And whenever they are here, they communicate with the Syrian government and they are helping out in defeating ISIS. This is the truth and this is the reality. But America, on the other hand, America is not fighting ISIS. America is actually protecting ISIS. America was funding ISIS. America sent money and weapons to ISIS. And they were lying to the American people and telling them, oh, we are sending money and weapons to freedom fighters and moderate rebels. Like, imagine how stupid do they think the American people and the world is. How can you call ISIS and Al-Qaeda freedom fighters and moderate rebels? Like, what kind of stupidity is this? But unfortunately, they know that there are many, many American people that are brainwashed and will always believe whatever the mainstream media tells them. So they said this lie, and people like me and like Syrian creators like Kibork Al-Masyan and others like Sarah Abed and Hanin Ilyas and all of, we used to say this a long time ago, that the people that we are fighting right now are ISIS and Al-Qaeda. They are Islamic extremist terrorist groups. They are coming from all over the world. They're coming from Iraq, they're coming from Libya, they're coming from Afghanistan, they're coming from Asia, they're coming from Europe. And they may all have different nationalities, but they all share the same extremist Wahhabi ideology. That's how they were able to gather all of these terrorist groups and send them to Syria, because they all have the same Wahhabi ideology. They were telling them, oh, look, the Syrian government is a secular government, and look, Christians and minority groups in Syria have rights, and alcohol is allowed, and women are allowed to work and wear whatever they want. That's not the way to be. You need to implement Sharia law, make Syria an Islamic country. And that's how they started, brainwashing these people and sending them to fight in Syria. This is the reality, and this all started under Obama. And how is Joe Biden connected with all of this? Joe Biden was the fucking vice president of Obama, so he was in it from the beginning. And now that Joe Biden is the president, it's only going to be the continuation of the same exact destructive foreign policy. They'll be like, oh, we were defending ourselves. They attacked us and we were defending ourselves. It's like, what do you expect how do you expect the locals to behave? No, I really want a sensible answer. You entered the country illegally. You occupied the country illegally. You bombed the country. You funded ISIS and Al-Qaeda. You were the reason why millions of Syrians either died or became refugees in other countries. Like, how do you expect the Syrian people to react to such an invasion? You want us to sing for you Beatles songs, all you need is love. Like, how do you expect the Syrian people to behave? And in addition to all of that, the American government is implementing harsh and cruel economic sanctions on the Syrian people to suffocate us. The economy in Syria has become very, very bad. No, people are not even having money to buy bread anymore. We're waiting in lines for 7 hours to get bread. There is a fuel crisis in the country. There's an economic crisis in the country. And in addition to all of this bullshit, the American government closed the embassy in Syria and forced all the European countries to also close their embassies in Syria. So now if a Syrian wants to run away from Syria and travel out, he can't legally get a visa to travel out of Syria. He has to become a refugee and go through the sea, and days of walking until they reach to a safe place. And also, in addition of that, the American government is stealing our oil. Wherever you want to look, where are the American military bases located in Syria, you will always notice that somehow, the American military bases are always in our oil fields. They are stealing our oil, even though, look, the American government doesn't need Syria's oil. They have enough oil in their country, But the main reason why the American government is occupying the oil fields and they're stealing our oil is because they know if the Syrian government gets control of our oil fields, we will be able to, make the economy stronger and spread fuel to the whole country. And they don't want this to happen. They want Syria to stay on, living in difficult times, and they want the Syrian people to keep on suffering. That's one of the main reasons why they also implemented economic sanctions. Because after they funded ISIS and Al-Qaeda took control of like 60% of the country. But today, in 2021, 80 to 85% of the country is now liberated from ISIS. It's under the control of the Syrian government. So they saw, oh my God, it's only a matter of time until the Syrian army liberates Syria from all of these jihadists. So what can we do? They were like, okay, let's implement more and more and more economic sanctions so that the Syrian people can die of hunger and not be able to be financially stable or build their future. So hopefully, maybe in the future, all these Syrian people that support the government will, rebel against the government and overthrow them. And, finally, we will be able to put a puppet president that will follow our American orders whenever we tell them to. This is what they want. They don't like the Syrian government because the Syrian government is not a puppet to the West. The Syrian president doesn't take orders from America. We tell them no. So they don't like that. They like people that are America's bitches. That's why they like Saudi Arabia. They talk about human rights. Oh, the people are dying. What about Saudi Arabia, your ally? Saudi Arabia has been killing Yemenis for how many years now? Why is the American government silent about this? In fact, the American government is selling Saudi Arabia weapons. So it's not about, the American government cares about innocent people dying, because if they did, they would be doing the same thing to Saudi Arabia. But no, the relationship between America and Saudi Arabia just keeps getting better and better and better. And they sell them weapons, millions, if not billions of dollars of weapons. Saudi Arabia buys from America every year, and they use these weapons to kill innocent people in Yemen. Why is America silent about this? So they want to convince me that America cares about the innocent people dying in Syria, but they don't care about the innocent people dying in Yemen. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And this is only the start. I don't want to seem, pessimistic or negative. I'm just being realistic with you guys. If the American people don't stand up against their government and tell them we are against war, pull out all the troops from the Middle East, because this is not our war, this is not our business. And plus, how the hell is Syria a threat to America's national security? Syria was never a threat to America's We don't even have a rocket that can reach Germany. How can we have a rocket that will reach America? Syria was never a threat to America. We never interfered in America's problem. We never gave our opinions on your election. We never say, oh, you guys should overthrow Biden. You should kick out Trump. We don't interfere in your own elections and in your own government. So why do you guys, not you guys, I mean the American government, are always interfering in our own country? They want to put the president that they want. They want us to have a foreign policy that agrees with their own foreign policy. They want us to be enemies with their enemies, and they want us to be friends with their friends. It's like it's not our business, We are friends with Russia. Russia has been an ally of Syria for many, many, many years. It's not America's business, If America was good with us, we would also be having good relationship with America. But America has been fucking with us for the past 10 years. And what do you expect the Syrian people to be? How do you expect us to behave? They are stealing our oil. They are burning our oil fields. They are bombing our people. They are killing our people. They funded ISIS and Al-Qaeda. It's like imposing economic sanctions. It's very normal for the Syrian people to have this reaction against the American occupation, because at the end of the day, it's an occupation. What America is doing in Syria is called an occupation, and it is illegal. But the rest of the world are such pussies that they can't stand up against America. They're too scared. Guys, you don't understand. Life in Syria has become very, very, very bad. No matter how much I explain it, I know in most of my videos I always do comedy and stuff. But the reality is the situation in Syria is very, very bad, especially after the economic sanctions. All the embassies are closed. No foreign business is allowed to open in Syria. We are not allowed to import or export. Creators like me that do, stuff online and social media and stuff, we are also not allowed to make money online. We are not allowed to have a PayPal account. We are not allowed to have a MasterCard or a credit card. We can't travel out of Syria. It's very hard, and our options are very, very limited. Only certain countries till today still give out visas to Syria, and it's very difficult. Like you need an invitation or like a business or an employment visa. It's very difficult. We started having a bread crisis. We started having a fuel crisis. Unemployment rate has skyrocketed. It's very difficult to find a job, and many Syrians have to work 2 or 3 jobs in a month to just make ends meet. I'm not talking about building your future. I'm not talking about getting married or having a family. I'm not talking about buying a house. I'm just telling you to work 2 or 3 jobs in the month just to not die of hunger till the end of the month. This is how the majority of the Syrian people are living now. And this is because of what America and the NATO countries have been doing to Syria for the past 10 years. They say, oh, we are implementing economic sanctions to punish the Syrian government. The Syrian government is not being punished by the economic sanctions. Do you think high-ranking government officials are sitting today without bread in their house, or without electricity in their house, or without fuel, or without money? They all have money. It's the majority of the Syrian people that are suffering because of the economic sanctions. It's not the government. And the American people know this, but they lie to you and tell you, oh no, these economic sanctions are only to punish the government. No, it's the Syrian people that are paying the price. It's the Syrian people that are suffering the consequences. It's not the Syrian government. And the American people know this. So guys, look, if we really want a solution for both countries, not only for Syria, but for both countries, the American people also have to stand up. Like we Syrians, we're doing our part. We are fighting ISIS. We're trying to liberate the country. We're trying to survive. But the American government is the one that is always making the process more difficult and slower. With the economic sanctions, with stealing our oil, with bombing us. Like how do you expect us to rebuild our country whenever like a couple of months passes and we start somehow improving the situation, they bomb us again. Then we go back to point zero. Then we try to build ourselves back up, then they bomb us again. And this is only, look, Biden has only been in president for 6 months, and he has bombed Syria twice, and he has bombed Iraq too. And this is only the beginning. He's a warmonger. That's what Joe Biden is. He's just like Obama, and he's just like the rest of the American presidents, you understand? So if you guys really want this to stop and you want the war to end, you guys really need to stand up against your government and tell them no more wars, pull out the fucking troops from the Middle East and leave the economic sanctions and leave these people alone. Leave them alone. Let them breathe. Let them live again. Let them rebuild their country. We have done more than enough to destroy their lives. Why are we still destroying their lives more and more and more and more? You guys really need to stand up and talk with your government, because if you don't make it clear that we don't want any more wars, they're going to keep on doing this. They're going to keep on doing this, and they're going to always use Iran or some fucked up excuse to be like, oh, they used chemical weapons this time. Oh, it was Iran. They're always going to use a stupid lie, just like they did with Iraq. When they wanted to attack Iraq, they knew that the majority of the American people didn't want to go to war against Iraq. So what did they do? They created a lie, which was weapons of mass destruction. They came out and they said, oh, look, Iraq has weapons, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, so we really have to invade him. So they went to Iraq, they invaded Iraq, they destroyed the country, stole the oil, destroyed the economy, created millions of refugees, and killed the president. And after the whole country got destroyed, and after thousands of American soldiers died because of this war, when the American people were asking the government, okay, where is this weapons of mass destruction that you were telling us about? Where is this weapon of mass destruction that you sent our children to go and die? Because what did the American government say? They were like, oh, it turned out that Saddam doesn't have weapons of mass destruction, sorry. Okay, what about the millions of Iraqis that died or became refugees? What about the thousands of American soldiers that died or went back home without a leg or without a hand or without a testicle? Or what about these American troops? Another thing, what about the American troops that went back home who didn't lost a leg or a hand, but came back with depression and PTSD and mental problems that they can't recover from because of all the bloodshed and all the death that they had to witness? And it's all because of a lie that the American government said. The same thing is happening, and if we don't learn from history, history is going to repeat itself. This is the truth, guys, and this is the situation in Syria. So we really need to find a solution if we really want all of this suffering to end. We really need to speak out. You guys share this video, like while watching right now, share the hell out of this video, share it into groups, share it to pages. If you know someone that has a huge following, send the link of this video to him. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, so that in case Facebook one day decides to close or delete my video, my page I mean, you guys will have another, platform to still follow me there. Because Facebook, you guys know, they always close down accounts that speak the truth. So anyway, this is what is happening, and I just feel bad for the Syrian people and the people of the Middle East. It's like, imagine 10 years of war. Imagine you living in a war zone for 10 years of your life. It's like, how can you recover from that? What about Iraq? Like, think about it. Like, the American military base invaded Iraq in 2003. 2003. So you're talking about almost 20 years the American military is still in Iraq. Like, what the hell are they still doing in Iraq? What the hell are they still doing in Iraq? And is Iraq better than it was before America invaded? Of course not. What about Libya? What about Afghanistan? What about Syria? It's like, how many times must history repeat itself until the people learn the lesson? It's really crazy. It's really crazy how people are just silent about all of these atrocities that the American government has been committing for the past years, and they're just silent about it. They distract you guys with stupid shit inside America. Oh, look, they are doing this inside America. And one more thing, thank God that I remembered. It's like the American government keeps on bitching about the Mexican-American border. They always complain about, oh, we have immigrants illegally entering our country and so on. What about you guys that are also illegally entering our country? What kind of hypocrisy is this? And plus, if you guys really, really want to solve the border problem in America, if you really want to solve this problem, why don't you pull out all the troops from the Middle East and send them to the American-Mexican border? That way the troops will be close to their family, they will be in their country, and they will be protecting their borders. Isn't that what the military is supposed to do? The military is supposed to protect the country, not invade other countries and bomb them and then say, oh, we didn't bomb them, we were defending ourselves. So this is my solution. If you guys really want to solve the border problem, bring back all the troops from Syria and from Iraq and from all the Middle East, send them to the, what they call it, Mexican-American border. They will secure the border. No more illegal immigrants will enter. No more criminals or drug smugglers or human traffickers will enter. And the military, the soldiers will be in their house. They'll be in their home between their people. Do you think all of these American soldiers are happy that they're risking their lives every single day in the Middle East fighting a war that has nothing to do with America or America's national security? I can't believe that what I am saying is like news to people. Like, this is just common sense, people. But some people are just too brainwashed because all they watch is what CNN tells them and what MSNBC and Fox News and BBC tells them, and they are brainwashed. People are brainwashed. You have to understand, all of these mainstream media networks, they're all biased and they all work in favor of their government, you understand? So you can't really learn the truth from them. If you really want to know what is happening in a region, you need to ask somebody living in that region. Don't ask a CNN reporter that is just getting their information from the government. If you really want to know the truth, that's what you have to do. You have to talk to people in the region. Tell them, like, what is happening in your country? How is the economic sanctions affecting you? How is your life with the war? How is my country's foreign policy affecting your country? These are the questions you guys need to be asking locals in the Middle East, whether we're talking about Syria, Libya, or Iraq. And speaking of Libya, they always say, oh, Gaddafi was a bad guy, Gaddafi was a bad guy. What about Libya today? When the American government attacked and struck Libya, what happened to Libya? Didn't the country of Libya get destroyed and Gaddafi, the president, got killed? And after that, what happened? Didn't terrorism start in the whole country and you start having terrorism problem in Libya? And then you start having black slaves being sold in the market in Libya? Imagine, African people they started selling African people as slaves in Libya. And when did that happen? Did that happen under Gaddafi? No, it happened when America bombed and struck Libya and caused the Libyan president to die. Now I know that the dictators in the Middle East are not good people, but it is very clear that the situation in the Middle East the situation in Iraq was way much better when Saddam was in power than today. Same with Libya, same with Afghanistan. So it's like, stop trying to be, the teacher and the bullies of the world. Just focus on your own problem. You guys have enough problem in America, don't you? Like, instead of spending billions and billions of dollars every single year in wars in the Middle East, why don't you use this money to rebuild your country, make your country better, make your healthcare system better, rebuild the roads, help the homeless people in America? The American government could be doing so much positive things for their people with all the trillions of dollars they spend every year on war and on their military bases. So it's like, this is common sense. I don't know what else to say. But this is the situation, unfortunately, and I am honestly sick and tired of the same shit repeating itself every couple of months. Every couple of months, I have this optimism that, okay, maybe the situation in Syria will soon improve, but it just keeps repeating itself. Do you know why? Because the American people are not standing up against their government. As long as you guys are silent, the American government will keep on doing the same things. They will keep on starting more wars, sending more troops, killing more people. It's really, Laura saying, I hear you, Treka, it's really awful. Yes, it really is awful. Yeah, try to put yourself in my position, seeing your country destroyed and your people dying and your history being destroyed. When ISIS came, do you know how many places and how many people died because of them? Do you know how many churches got destroyed because of them? Churches that were talking about thousands and thousands of years old. When they went to the city of Palmyra, which is an ancient city in Syria, thousands and thousands of years old, what did ISIS do? They were bombing all the monuments and the artifacts and all the historical sites, because to them this is a sin. Oh, you can't be believing in this stuff. When ISIS went to the ancient city, the Christian town of Malula and Sednaya, what did they do to the Christians? They were killing Christians in the middle of the road. They were burning churches. And then you have American government pretending like they care about the Christians. What about the Christians of Syria that got killed? And it's not like ISIS only killed Christians in Syria. They also killed Muslims. They also killed Druze and Allah. They killed everybody. Anybody that doesn't share the same extremist Wahhabi ideology as them, they kill them, because to them they are sinners and they deserve to die. We are dealing with barbaric people. And like I said, if the American people don't stand up against their government, this is only going to continue. I hope I have said what I have to say. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me now, because I'm going to be ending the live video soon. The mosque is now, it's time for the mosque prayer. So the sound you are hearing is the prayer of the mosque. Anyway guys, that will be the end of the live video. Please make sure to share this video and follow me on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube to stay updated with my latest work. And I'll see you guys in my next video. So wish you all the best. Peace.